Hi, everybody. Welcome to the R&R Ranch Round Up with your host, Stacy, and my beautiful daughter, Belle.
Yes, we are back.
We are back. It seems like we've been on a little bit of a break already.
But we haven't been on a break.
No, we haven't been on a break, but it seems like it because we didn't post an episode last week because I'd say we ran into all kinds of issues.
Trouble.
We tried a new place, so we weren't sitting
No. We tried a new place and we recorded an episode.
Yes.
And it was terrible.
It was.
But it still could work in that room, but we need to get it figured out first before we can make it work.
Maybe.
So we're back upstairs.
We are back upstairs. We're trying to figure it out. You know, it's funny. When we built this house, we didn't anticipate having to have a podcast room. So
shame on us.
Yes, so we're trying to figure it out, and that's okay. We'll get there. But for now, we're back at the kitchen, and that's okay. So
Handsome's with us. There will be no interruptions.
There will be no interruptions unless he barks at something. Then we're in trouble. Okay, so we're going to get right into things today because we have a lot of things to cover.
About.
Yeah, we do. So I think first of all, we need to bring people up to speed on Teddy. The last time we spoke, Teddy was kind of the outlander with the dwarfs.
Oh yeah, totally.
No.
Oh yeah, because last time, everybody hated him.
Everybody hated him.
Everybody.
Yeah,
Aww.
Everybody hated Teddy.
Yeah,
and he was still suffering the repercussions of Eleanor not being nice to the dwarfs when she was around, and of course now, not only
like 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Oh gosh, no, they've been completely separated now.
No, since they hated him.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And so since then, we have continued to work with socializing them all together. And
it worked.
It has worked. And the big thing was once we took that divider out of the stall and everybody was together and now they're peacefully coexisting.
Totally. Baker loves him.
Baker's fine with him now.
I wouldn't say he loves him, but he tolerates him. Teddy picks on him and they get along.
I do. I think
Booker is always, gonna walk around with his ears pinned and
Booker baby.
I mean,
that's
Martha, they all get along and he's right there in it with them and hangs out with them when they
Martha's played with them when they were out in the paddock. Yeah. I mean, I think for the most part we can say it's done.
Totally done.
Teddy is part of the gang now, and
if we talk about the dwarfs, I feel like Teddy's morphed into the dwarfs, even though he's not a dwarf.
Exactly. Yeah. People still ask us that if he's a dwarf, and the answer is no.
No, the answer is no. I just don't know. How is he going to be the size of Eleanor? Is he going to be the size of Baker? Is he going to be the size of Martha?
Maybe. I mean,
I just
don't know.
But I think he's going to be that size.
Yeah, he was born so prematurely. He was tiny.
I know. I hate looking at pictures of him.
Oh my gosh,
it's just too much.
I mean, it was like picking up a cat.
I know.
And he's really grown. He's put on weight. He's taller than Booker. Mm-hmm. He's doing fantastic.
And he's fat.
He's getting a little chunky, but it's cute. Cute. He's fluffy, and he's doing much better with not. How much do you want to bet Nanny's going to jump up on here?
She is. I moved her food. She's eyeballing it. She's like,
She'll probably make it up here.
It's over there.
Oh, well, she doesn't know.
No, I know she doesn't know.
Oh, that's fine.
Manners over there. So that's going to be a problem.
Anyway, so Teddy's doing great. Baker's doing great. People want to know how
doing
Baker's
phenomenal.
Doing. If I can get it together or if maybe my daughter could get it together.
Or if maybe your assistant could get it
or
together.
my new assistant could put a video together of Baker because he's doing phenomenally. He broke out in a little run the other day.
He didn't. He sprinted.
Yeah.
He sprinted. And it's like he's always wanted to run, and he has run before, but he took off.
Full on.
He sprinted. He was running. I don't know, did he buck when he ran? there, or did he?
No, he threw his head. He might have bucked because there's
maybe.
2 episodes.
But like usually when he runs, it's like 3 steps, and he's like, I'm not going to do it anymore.
No, he had a great time.
And, so
everybody needs to see that. You'll really feel good about it.
Here we go. What do I do?
Blocker.
Here's Nan, everybody. She's not really.
She doesn't know where her food is.
Oh,
Isn't that
God,
gross? I mean, we have
I
to
know.
keep her food and water on the counter or the dogs eat it.
I know that.
And it's gross.
It's too much.
Hey,
Anyway,
you know
she's
what?
on-
I can guarantee you we are not the only people that put their cat food and water on the counter because the dogs will eat it. Okay, so she's looking for food.
Okay.
Here we go.
I was saying Baker is just like an angel. He is the best of the best.
And honestly, when you see a picture of Baker that we post, and we post a lot of him on our story.
Yeah, he doesn't really get a lot of airtime on the page, I feel like. Does he?
You know what? It's hard to get them all in.
I know, but do you know why it's hard? It's because
my
there's a
daughter doesn't
dedicated
do it?
Martha Day and there's a dedicated Franklin Day. And so it leaves you like 2 days to get through the rest of them.
It's okay.
I know, but I'm saying sometimes it's okay to post about, like, maybe Monday could be like just the dwarf's day.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Just so you can get a little bit more in.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Also, if I had some help getting these videos done, that would be a help too.
Well, which leads us to our another topic is
Gracie.
Stace has an assistant.
I do.
Not
that I still don't have this assistant, but this assistant is like what are we doing today, Mom?
Well, don't act like it's such a bad thing.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. No,
but when it comes time to doing
things,
so I'll do something and you'll sit there and watch me do it and just keep me company.
Right.
Or if I have tons of orders to get out, you'll be
I sit there and watch you pack them.
You do. So I actually hired someone that's going to do some of these things.
People are going to hate me.
No, they're not going to hate you.
No, but they're going to be like, "Well, do something."
But I'll do something.
Okay, well, sue me for wanting to hang out with you.
I'm not saying that's the problem.
Anyway, so Stace has
Gracie just started last week, and so that's going to bring some relief to what I have to do.
Yeah,
hopefully. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about this morning before we get going is Christmas.
What about Chloe?
Oh, I looked over Chloe.
Well, I
overlooked Chloe. So Chloe has been doing so well with her walking, everything about her. Her most recent X-rays showed that she has no sign of laminitis,
which is amazing.
Which is unbelievable. If you go back and if you guys want to look at what Chloe was like when we talk about how dramatic the change has been in her, all you have to do is go to our YouTube channel, which is R&R Ranch Minis.
I have a great idea.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
and
it has to do with Chloe. It has to do with Chloe.
And pull up the episode that is called Chloe, Deeper Look at Chloe or something like that. And it shares with you all about her health issues and her struggles with laminitis and her struggles with her metabolic issues and how everything germinated from her neglected past when we first adopted her. So Chloe's doing great. We put her into the paddock with her old group.
She loved it.
She did love it. It was good for her head. It was good for her brain to be back out there and be back with her friends.
And all of her friends, like, they respect her. They understand. Yeah. They don't pick on her. If any of the minis are going to be mean, it's Bambi.
Or Sophie.
Yeah. Millie.
I don't think Millie's ever touched her.
I know, but like Millie's just got a little bit of an edge to her.
She does.
And they all know, like, you don't mess with Chloe. She goes out there. She had a good time.
Yeah. I will say this.
Oh, who did it?
Well, nobody did anything wrong, but on multiple times I saw Sophie just walking over to her, kind of like how she saunters over to her like, I'm coming. So
move.
Yeah, don't be in my direction when I get there.
On with it.
And so what happened was, because we put her outside on Sunday and Monday, and she was sore. And so what we believe happened was nobody hurt her. The footing is easier out there than it is on the gravel, the pea gravel. But she was moving a lot more. And so being
like
a
when
lot
she
more
goes
active,
out every day, she just stands. Like she hangs out with the dwarf. She hangs out next to the paddock.
Yeah.
She'll walk some, but for the most part, she stands.
She just hangs out.
And,
she'll sunbathe.
Yeah.
But no, she went
the
out there.
paddock is more
She
like,
rolled.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of times we feel like Chloe is having she has some lower back pain issues. And it could be that, you know, she strained something or whatever. So anyway, Chloe is not in the paddocks anymore until we do a little bit more. Dr. Walsh is coming tomorrow to do some blood work and just make sure that everything is all good.
Yeah.
So Chloe, okay. I'm not going to talk about Christmas.
Okay.
I just made that decision. I'm not going to talk about Christmas. We'll do it another time.
Okay.
Let's talk about this for a second. AMA. We did it yesterday. And by we, I mean me.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I don't know what that is.
So AMA is Ask Me Anything on Instagram.
All you.
And it was all me. And the reason that I did it was because I had the time to do it. I was sitting in the passenger side of the car while Dave drove. We were in Columbus. Mm-hmm. We had just met my oldest son and his girlfriend. And so I did AMAs for hours.
I saw that.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
But it was fun. And so we had a lot of questions. And honestly, you guys, one of the most recurring things is people are curious about Dad. They want to know more about him.
They've always been curious about Dad.
They've always been curious about him, and they want to know more about him. And it came up in the comments and the questions yesterday. And therefore, I think it's a perfect time to bring Dad out and introduce him to everyone.
Yep.
So we can find out. We've got questions that people have sent in to us.
Lots of questions.
It's been a really busy day today. I know that at least for me, again, at least for me, I've had a very busy day going from place to place to place to place. And honestly, 5 minutes before we sat down, I started really quickly going through
oh my gosh, let me
questions. I didn't even get to the Facebook, questions, but I at least went through the Instagram ones because it's so much easier to navigate that site. And so I have questions for your dad that we're going to ask. And we have our own questions that we think people want to know. So with that, let's bring him out.
Let's bring him out.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
So we
Hi, Dad.
are here.
Hi there.
With my husband, your dad, and your uncle, David Rolfe.
Hi.
Hi.
I was in the green room.
You were in the green room. Yep.
You had nice hors d'oeuvres.
So at least we had the foreshadow to have a green room when we built the house, just not a podcast
Just not a
room.
podcast.
I think of everything, sweetheart.
Right. So, Dave, people are very curious about you. They've seen you a few times on clips of videos. Every now and then, you're in them.
Yeah.
So congratulations on being on
Thank you.
social media without knowing
Thanks for including me in this conglomerate mini rescue you guys
Here we
got
are.
going.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, Dad.
I think, we would just like to ask you some questions that our fans have. They are our friends. They follow the page and they have a genuine interest in you.
Okay.
So yes, your name is David, but
Oh, wait, it's not David like
David.
Schitt's Creek. It's not
David.
David like that.
David, it's but we call you Dave. I mean, nobody calls you David really, unless they don't know you. They
Right.
refer to you as
And
David.
Belle calls me Mr. Rolfe, which I
Right.
appreciate. Thank
Right.
you, sweetie.
Yeah,
So Dave is how it goes. Okay. You are a native St. Louisan, correct?
Yes.
Born and raised here.
Yep.
As
As are you.
yeah. And our kids. And thankfully,
of our
my
family.
extended family, your extended family, we're all here.
Terribly Homer
Yeah,
St. Louis people.
we are.
I don't think there are bigger St. Louis fans than Josh and his family.
Probably.
St. Louis sports fans.
Yep, probably. Okay, so just briefly, because we have a large St. Louis audience as well, Give us a scoop. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in North County, Delwood, and I went to Riverview.
Yeah, I know.
Stop it.
We can't.
Yeah, well, you married.
I know.
And I went there for the latter part of 10th grade.
Okay.
And then moved out more West County and finished high school in 1980 at Parkway North.
Mm-hmm. And I always say that being a Parkway Central girl, I married you anyway.
That's one interpretation.
Thanks.
So just for those that are unfamiliar with the little high school parochial, humor that we have here in St. Louis,
It's just
tell them what does that mean when you ask a person, like you could have a PhD from Harvard. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. But where'd you go to high school?
Yeah.
Like that's what
all
people
that
want to
anybody
know.
cares about
If you're in
Louis.
St.
Where did
Louis.
you go to high school?
So tell people why that
It
is.
sizes everybody up.
St. Louis, I've been fortunate in my business to travel a lot. I can't find any place more parochial, and I don't mean that from like a Catholic school perspective, more parochial than St. Louis. To your point, you're talking to somebody, oh, I have a PhD from Johns Hopkins. Oh, that's great. I'm from St. Louis too. Where'd you go to high school?
Yeah.
And that answer, incorrectly or not, but that answer will typically discern your family's income, how you lived, your social status, your
quite possibly your religion,
your country
Everything.
club status, everything. So in St. Louis, your first 12 years, that's it. Or not the first 12 years, your first 18 years, high school, that defines you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's how St. Louis is.
It is. And I think we're probably the only state out there that does that. And people who move here are mystified by it, as they should be.
What's this high school stuff? They come in from the coast and so it's like, well, where'd you
like,
go to
I
high
went to
school?
UCLA.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah, I know.
Hilarious.
So moving on from high school, Dad.
Yeah.
Let's talk about where'd you go to college? Did you work through college? What were your jobs after college?
Started out at University of Missouri, engineering, and hung in there for about 2.5 years. Was not a very good student.
Why not?
Yeah. What happened?
Were you just not interested in studying? What was it?
Oh, the teachers were all against me. So, with tail between my leg, came back to St. Louis, went to the University of Missouri, St. Louis, changed my major to finance and economics, got significantly interested in investments. And it was like a spark. It changed everything. It wasn't even like I was going to school anymore. And with that, finished in December 1985. We had started dating a year or so before that, and finished after I graduated. I barely got my toe into the investment management business, and I've been doing that ever since.
And I think it's interesting and fun to know that you and I really were waiting to get married until you were gainfully employed, right?
You mean making a paycheck?
Yes.
And not eating every dinner at your parents' house?
Yep.
That's the plan.
And
Sounds familiar.
And that first job that you got did not necessarily give you a paycheck. We still had to keep waiting.
It was small little St. Louis brokerage firm, and there was no commission draw or salary draw, commission draw, no base pay. And when I came, I would never forget the look on your face. They hired me and you said, how much? And I said, well, 0. And then we waited. We waited another year or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we waited for 3 years to get married.
Yeah. We got married in June of 1987, which was the same year as the stock market crash. Even though I don't know if there's a correlation there, maybe. But
sounds like it.
Yeah. We dated for 3 years.
I thought there was like a 3-month thing.
Well, we were only engaged. We got engaged in February and we got married in June. So it was like 4 months.
Yeah, your parents wanted you out of the house. So I was like, hey, I asked your dad for your hand and he goes, when? Sooner. He gave me a nice check.
That part is all not true. So for everybody that doesn't know you, that part is all not true.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's not true.
All right, Dad. Well, but you met Mom through work.
Yeah.
How?
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry.
I was so far behind all of my friends. I mean, I didn't have many classes that would transfer. So I'm going to school morning and in the afternoon and in the evening. And I had a little part-time job at a travel agency back before the internet. And I was a delivery boy. I delivered tickets to businesses when those executives made reservations for that day or the next day. And it just so happened that before I had that job, Stacy was working on and off there part-time in high school, and she was home during one summer, and she was working there. Across the room, our eyes met, like an affair to remember, Cary Grant, and
Not true.
She was one smitten kitten.
Oh, okay. This is all fabricated.
So anyway, one of the highlights of our early dating.
The bagels. Where did that come
I'm talking about, get to the bagel. Anyway, in this little business area, there's this little bakery that served bagels. And I thought I would be romantic and surprise Stacy, my dear future bride, but with a bagel.
Mm-hmm.
And I got cream cheese. Everything's great. I walk in, and the area that you work was mostly women.
Yeah.
And I'm just, hi, this is for Stacy. It's like I was bringing you a bouquet of roses.
Right.
And I give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And
but that wasn't the first time you gave it to me. This was like you had started to bring me bagels.
But on this particular occasion.
I'm
walking out thinking I'm the hero, looking forward to our date. And I look around, and you got this look on your face of horror that I forgot to get it toasted.
That's true.
It almost ended right there.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't horror, but it was a disappointment.
Well, you should have seen your face.
I know, it was disappointed.
So we've had many ups and downs. We got through the bagel hurdle.
Yeah.
Right?
We had Bagelgate.
Bagelgate. We had payroll gate where I wasn't making any money.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, Dad, and just like when I grew up and Mom would have a birthday, you would always say, what, you were turning 28?
Yeah.
Or something?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody had asked me how you and Mom met, I would have said you delivered bagels to Mom's office. Not that you were bringing it to Mom, that you just delivered bagels.
Oh, that would have been a great job. I would have really.
She did marry the delivery boy, so you're pretty close, Belle.
I know, but
you thought he was a bagel guy.
Yes. I thought
Just like you thought that our cousin Tino was cousin Tino. Yeah. Instead of that was their last name.
Yeah,
cousin
that's their
Tino.
last name. Tino, I thought they were cousin
Tino.
Space Tino, Tino.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be the delivery bagel boy.
All right, that's enough of that.
So that brings us. Let's just say
that brings us back to
brings us here we are.
Let's go to 2020.
Okay.
Let's do a 3-decade jump for the sake of the podcast.
From what I know, okay, and just to briefly tell our fans again, you didn't really grow up with animals per se, other than a dog.
No, I didn't.
Right. And so one would think that living with this many animals that we have, that you would have been on a farm, or you would have been, involved with multiple dogs, a cat, or whatever at your own house. But that's not the way it was, right?
No. I remember a lot of things from our first date. It's a family show. I won't go into those, but I do recall.
You guys have to believe a third of what he's saying at this point.
I no doubt remember when I got to know you, one of the first things that you would always talk about is your love for animals.
Yeah.
Come to find out, you came from a big family. You guys had a lot of pets. And I thought it was great. When we got our first cat, it wasn't a big deal. At the time, I really was maybe a cat person. But when you fast forward from when we first met to how many animals we have, it seems a lot, but there's a lot of time in between. Mm-hmm. And it just seemed like gradually more and more and more. And then we had some leaps when you got involved with horses. But sweetie, it is the joy that you have. You too, Belle. It's like, how can I say no?
Easy. You just
every
hear them bark.
Every extra animal, every new animal, I should say, that we get just brightens up your lives, both of your lives. And I'm just a fan on the sidelines. I'm cheering you on. I'm enjoying it immensely.
You're going to end up having a bigger fan base than we are for
Yeah.
that kind of an answer.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
That's the plan.
So that's really sweet. So, I guess then
this
Well,
is
it's
supposed
true.
to be Dad's podcast.
why am I taking it over?
No,
Oh.
like.
Oh, yeah, this was supposed to be Dad's
This was supposed
podcast.
to be like you were
Yeah.
supposed to have a podcast, then we
Remember?
took it. Now you're gonna have the bigger fan base, so this is gonna turn into your podcast.
Yeah, you had an idea.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, we're going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm like, great. You guys are doing great.
Dad could-
So I guess,
My gosh.
so then when people say, and they ask all the time, how does your husband put up with this? Why does your husband put up with this? You would say,
Truth be told,
mm-hmm,
you two handle 99.9% of it. Let's be fair.
mm-hmm,
I'm not up at 4 a.m. cleaning out stalls.
mm-hmm.
I'm not, if there is an emergency at 1 a.m. I mean, again, I'm in the front row seats, box seats. I'm cheering you on,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not the one who does the incredible heavy lifting. But I will say this, in all seriousness,
Mhm.
I do try to keep my emotions rather reserved. And I'm very curious about, my favorite horse is Em. She's been through so much. She went through so much.
Mm-hmm.
But I do try to keep my emotional reserve, if that's the right way to describe it, because it's so hurtful when something goes wrong.
Yep.
It's so painful when we lose one. And between the two of you, the emotional hit that you go through, I don't want to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of go, not vicariously, but again, that's kind of my buffer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so between the actual work and that emotional buffer,
Mm-hmm.
I say more the merrier. But I will say you don't show me vet bills, right?
No.
Or feed bills.
No.
No, but they do
Or zero
come
bills.
through like on Apple Pay sometimes.
You
Yeah.
so pay attention.
Yeah, it's like
Mid
what's
Rivers
this?
gets busted.
And you're like, oh, it's nothing, just some
Just let it
shoeing
go.
or something.
Yeah. So, Dad, since you have you just had like a dog growing up, you don't have any prior like horse experience to when we started the barn. Even though like I rode horses, you weren't out at the barn, not
Right.
really at my horse shows. You've never been around horses. So how is it now? Having all the dogs in the house and the animals in the house, it's totally different. Like we also have a farm, and
Right.
so how is that?
Well, I hearken back to
I know. Yeah, I know.
We have a roving.
that's my contribution to R&R Ranch. That was a stink bug.
That was a stink bug, and he just nailed Josh with it.
with
He
the
just
stink bug.
I
flipped
didn't hit him
it.
with it.
You did.
So back to the
Okay.
answer.
Oh
Back to
my
the
God.
answer. What?
That's like dangerous.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
My gosh. So I actually was very fortunate to grow up. My dad was very interested in horses, going to the local racetracks. My dad's youngest brother in Southern Illinois raised quarter horses that my cousin, who is very close to my age, grew up riding competitively. And interestingly enough, he spent 2 or 3, almost 4 years being an incredibly successful jockey. So just there was always that kind of horse interest in my background. And then across the street from our subdivision, when you started riding when you were what, about 5?
Yeah, second grade.
Yeah,
What is
7.
that?
5?
Seven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you would leave at 8 in the morning
Yeah.
and you wouldn't come home until 8 at night. It was
I know.
perfect for me. It's like, go 12 hours.
And you would bring me lunch every time.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was.
But
Yeah.
again, through you and seeing how much joy you had, I mean, it was almost inevitable between
Yeah.
your early love of horses, your love of animals. Here we are today.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
No surprise.
That's
No.
sweet.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say your involvement with our barn is? I know, you keep like an emotional distance from the barn, but how much would you say you're up at the barn? I feel like you come up and
Scale
say
of 1 to
hi.
10?
Yeah, you come up and say hi.
0.5.
Yeah. That sounds
I mean,
about right.
but sometimes if I'm up there,
Oh,
late,
yeah.
you'll
Oh,
always
but you
walk
know
up
what?
there
Mom,
with
Dad
me.
has fed the horses before.
Yeah, we
You've
were
fed them
somewhere.
hay.
And remember, I told you
Like,
just
on
throw.
your
I
own.
could just see the Instagram comments coming in right now. He
And like
doesn't feed the
normally,
horses?
normally when we feed the horses, when we do hay, we're like shaking it to make sure there's no
Yeah.
sticks in there. And
And
all
Dad's
that
like,
well, I told him, I'm like, don't go in the stall.
yeah, just chuck it.
Just toss
Chuck it,
toss a
yeah.
flake in there. I think it
I
was
know.
Dad and Oliver. had
yeah,
to
we
feed
were
him.
on FaceTime. We were gone.
Yeah, I don't
we were like,
remember.
feed the horses.
Maybe a horse show or
Well,
something.
again,
Okay.
that world
Yeah.
is yours,
Dad,
and I'm on a periphery, and I am
Totally get
cheering you and
Yeah.
applauding you two on.
it. Great.
Okay, so that gives us a good picture for everybody to understand your involvement with the horses, your knowledge of them. You did mention that M is your favorite, everybody's favorite. So briefly,
Martha too.
Martha too, of course. Briefly,
Two
okay.
sentences.
We 2 sentences. I always like when I ask you to explain something.
In 2
like
sentences.
how does a
my daughter
microphone
right
work?
there.
What?
Go ahead.
When we ask you to say something, we're like, Dad, in 2 sentences,
In 2 sentences.
answer this question.
In 2 sentences, like explain.
Something about world history.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2
Yeah,
sentences.
in 2 sentences.
I don't think
Otherwise,
about it.
it's a
2 hours.
novel. Yeah, 2 hours.
You two
And then
are
you
the
start-
abbreviated Cliff Notes USA Today of my life. But
I
go
know,
ahead.
but then when we're like, Dad, tell me something about XYZ, and then you start like going into these deep stories, and then when we lose our patience, you start gritting your teeth at us. So 2 sentences.
And then
So
he'll
like
be
losing your patience, like the people watching this right now.
or then he'll be like, I'm trying
Can
to
you have
tell
some
you.
patience with me?
Okay. All right.
Okay, 2 sentences.
So here's the thing, because people do
Lightning
have,
round.
yeah.
lightning round.
Lightning round.
People have a curiosity about your cars.
Yeah.
Your cars can be seen on our documentary. It's on our YouTube page, so a lot of people watch that. So let's talk briefly about your cars. I'm going to ask you a question, and you just come up with the answer. And
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Yeah.
So how many cars do you have?
More than a few. We'll keep it at that.
That's the answer we would give him if he asked us how many horses we
Yeah,
have.
more than a few.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
Okay.
it. Moving on.
Do you have a favorite?
Yes. 1968 black on black Dodge Charger.
Okay. Do you have a least favorite car that's in your garage right now? Which one are you like, I don't really like this car?
The ones that leak oil.
Dad,
That's
I'll tell
all
you
of
which
them.
one I didn't like. That's gone now. Is that Lincoln thing?
Oh, that was the worst car.
You have no idea how sweet this 79, very rare, low mileage Lincoln Mark V, white.
With blue velvet interior.
It was amazing.
It was.
They had no
gnarly.
idea what it
It was
was.
terrible.
It was
And I
gnarly.
was so lucky to find it. Anyway, it's gone.
And
It's
that
gone.
red Cadillac that you bought.
So ask me questions about my favorites, not your favorites. or his
Okay.
favorites. So go ahead.
do you have any regrets? Any regrets that you've sold or any regrets that you passed on?
Yeah, I think the biggest regret is, I think one of your favorites too. It was a beautifully restored 1956 Ford F100 truck that was restored with a lot of modern amenities, AC, modern engine, and I shouldn't have gotten rid of it. It was a beautiful car.
Yeah, that was a bad mistake.
I'm just confused as to why.
I mean, it was because that truck would have looked perfect just parked up at the barn.
Yeah, for Christmas.
It would have looked perfect for Christmas.
But Mom,
So now it's about
we
you.
are very vocal about your cars that we like and dislike.
And it goes one in one
I
ear and
know,
out
but
the other.
I'm just confused as to how something like that truck got overlooked and sold. When there's
I don't know. How
so
did that
many
one get sold?
others that should go. And like that was
And I also like
God.
that other little one.
It's like, I mean, I'm going to plead the fifth. It's like Klieg lights here.
Well,
My
let's just
lawyer
say,
is not here.
Let's just say that
I
truck
take the fifth.
was a bad one. Okay, here's a couple questions from our fans. On the property, what is your favorite place to be?
In the garage.
In the garage.
Yep.
Okay.
That's my fortress of solitude.
Yeah.
So when you think I aggravate you and you're like, just get out of here, go to the garage. I'm like, that was the plan in the first place, sweetheart.
I have literally never said that in my life.
Yeah. All right.
I know. Well, we tell you to go out of town.
We do say go out of
that's
town.
true. Yeah, don't go to the garage, go out of town.
Go out of
So.
town.
No,
All right,
leave
speaking
the
of gut,
property.
And maybe
speaking
people are
of,
starting to figure out why I don't know so much about the barn because you want me out of town the whole time.
Yeah.
Well,
All these pictures, all the pieces of the puzzles are coming together.
fitting
now.
in.
Yep.
And what would be your favorite place to play golf? These are fan questions.
Oh, well, I.
how about in St. Louis and in the
Outside.
country or in the world,
Well,
wherever?
I belong to a small golf club, emphasis on golf, not country club, called Persimmon Woods. It is one of the best courses in St. Louis or Missouri. A lot of people know about it, but it's under the radar. It is a gem of a course, and it's very, very golfer and member friendly, small staff. Everybody knows everybody's name. Probably one of my favorite courses because I have a unique relationship. I was very fortunate to play just last week, Bell Reef Country Club. And just real quick, back in the day when Bell Reef Country Club
Old Man Bell
was, Old Man Bell Reef, when that course was where the University of Missouri St. Louis is currently. They moved in the early 60s out more to where you grew up. And back in the day, it wasn't that far from where my dad grew up. And my dad played golf all the time, and he caddied there. And then when I moved during my sophomore year, I actually, for 2.5 summers, I caddied at Bell Reef. I attended a number of notable national tournaments at Bell Reef. As if there's any golf fans, they're probably thinking, what, Bell Reef? Wasn't that 2018 where Tiger Woods almost came back and won the PGA championship? That's Bell Reef. So, and as Stacy, where you grew up, I mean, wasn't your subdivision Bell Reef Estates?
Yeah.
I mean, as the crow flies, you were an eighth of a mile. So Bell Reef has Rich. It has a history with my family,
In your mind.
my dad and and I think your brother even worked there. So Bell Reef. I mean, anybody who wants to get on a course, one of the best courses in St. Louis, much less Missouri, Bell Reef is at the top of their bucket list.
So I'm glad that wasn't really part of the lightning round questions because it was a long answer.
It's a slow-moving lightning storm coming in. I'll try to tighten up, sweetie.
Couple more. People want to know how many Masters hats you own.
6 or 7.
Okay.
Maybe 8 different colors.
And apparently, I just learned that there's a difference between the green and the white.
Well, the green's the most popular color, but specifically what I wear,
Here we go.
again, this isn't a lightning round question. It's hats from the 70s and early 80s or earlier that look like a golf hat. It's very tall with the rope, with the leather strap. Golfers will know exactly. It's old school golf hat. It doesn't look like a stupid baseball hat like they all look like today. It's a family show. I didn't use the other S word.
Good, clean family fun.
You also have another namesake look to you. If you're not, if people see you almost always have your golf hat on,
Mom,
the Masters
Dad
hat.
has multiple looks. But go on.
Yeah, but it's your sneakers, your tennis shoes that you wear.
Oh, best thing.
What are they?
They are.
Oh, we don't need to see them.
my God.
Okay, well we do. We need to see them.
They are from
He
the
probably
late
has to go to a
60s.
chiropractor now
Yeah.
after that.
Maybe
Yeah.
early 70s, mid 70s, Adidas Gazelle. And that's what I grew up wearing in junior high, middle school.
Yeah.
And I scour eBay and the internet, and I probably have 3 or 4 boxes of unused. Spencer has a pair. Oliver has a pair.
We probably have people listening that are like, that's the guy that buys all my eBay, all my
that's the guy.
Adidas blue shoes.
I found him.
I think he also buys all my polo rugbies.
Literally, if anybody has Adidas Gazelle, size 11, put them on eBay. I will use Stacy's retirement account to buy them. So, top dollar.
And polo rugbies.
Polo rugbies.
Is there nothing better?
Tommy
Yeah,
Bahama,
Dave.
like
Is
golf
there-
shirt or
Yeah,
polo
There's
shirts.
nothing.
Yeah, Dave, there's
better.
like coming into the
No.
Old school,
2000s.
heavy polo rugby with the either
Neon
padded
orange.
shoulders or the padded elbows. You guys don't know beans.
Dad,
Okay.
you look like your
I like
construction
wearing
cone.
iconic stuff that is timeless.
It's not that had a time
Cary
and
Grant,
place.
Paul Newman, Robert
Oh
Redford.
yeah, they all wore the big, baggy, oversized
Yeah.
polo rugbies.
Yeah, my wardrobe is a little bit limited.
All
I
right.
agree.
A little
So the last thing that I'm going to say that people have asked, and then Belle's got a couple questions to finish up with you on, is that people have asked you for tips on investing and so forth. And from what I understand, that is a kind of an off topic for us to do because of legal reasons and so forth. So I just wanted to touch base that people have asked that, and it's just not something you're.
I would love to talk.
Yeah.
You just can't. If I say something that requires disclosures, it's just, unfortunately, it's nice that they would ask, but I just can't.
Sure, I get it.
So speaking of investing, Dad, and how a lot of people actually recognize you and reach out to Mom that they've seen you is you're always on TV. You're always being interviewed, CNBC, Fox Business maybe. Do you enjoy being on? Do you like going to the studio? Sometimes you call in, do you enjoy doing that?
I love doing it. And it's such an honor just to be called. And Stacy has, the best place to do it is in the morning, live. It's always live, but on studio set in downtown Manhattan at the New York Stock Exchange. It's just a whole big production, the bright lights. And you prepare for hours and you may get one or two questions. If there's another guest, you might get one question, but I really, really enjoy it. And it's so interesting to see behind the scenes and all the effort. But I've been really blessed that some of these networks have invited me on over the years. And I can't tell you how much I enjoy it. And
they must enjoy you because they keep calling you back.
Well, I think I'm a D-lister at best, but I've been also a little behind the scenes real quick. We've owned a couple of stocks in our portfolio that are big, well-known companies, and they're always looking for some tidbits, some sound bites, some analysis when these companies report their earnings, and their viewers want to know their popular stocks. So that lends itself to me getting invited on the show almost exclusively. There's two big companies that they always ask about, and that lends itself to invites.
And a question that you're probably not gonna like, but do you have any idea how much it costs to run the barn, maintain the barn, do the barn?
Zero. None.
Get the minis, the dwarfs.
I mean, for me to go into Mom's computer and open up her spreadsheets and the bills, it'd be like me, Raiders of the Lost Ark, opening up the Ark of the Covenant or something. I'm sure I'd be blinded if I knew. I have a rough idea, but
Mom, I don't even know if we have a rough idea.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay.
But hey, listen, you can't take it with you. And someday when we're not around anymore and all that money is spent on animals,
Here we go.
Your
mom and I are
120 years old.
We're not gonna. There won't be anything left for you or your brothers, and that might be perfect harmony. I'm just kidding, sweetie.
Well, I will say on that note, Dave, that we know how much it is. I mean, at least I certainly do, and I will let everybody know that you never bat an eye with what it takes to take care of these horses, to maintain them, and when their health is rocked, and whether they're spending days on end in intensive care, or they are spending weeks on end on medication here, and in certain cases, years on end on medication. The special farriers, the special treatments that go on here. There is literally nothing that you have ever said no to. And we appreciate it. I know our fans appreciate it.
The horses appreciate it.
The horses appreciate it. I mean, when I get hugs from Martha and from Baker, especially Lucy, I mean, honestly, you just have to think these horses are literally throwing themselves into you. And they do it to me, and they do it to Belle, but that's all because of you, because I certainly don't work and Belle doesn't work, so we're not contributing to it. Huh?
Sore subject.
We're not contributing to it. So all of our gratitude goes to you. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Dad.
Well, you're very welcome. Anything for you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you very much for coming on and being our first guest. And
Hey, it's
First
been
guest?
great. The limo back to the private jet
Yeah.
to take me back home.
yeah,
I appreciate the accommodations.
right.
Appreciate the dinner at Ruth Chris's last night.
Yep.
Beautiful.
And I would tell you that you could leave out our front door, but it's broken.
It's
so
broken.
don't go out the front door.
But I'm
And
sure
then-
there aren't any doors at the barn that are broken, right?
No, there's not. But the front door is. So anyway, thank you
Thanks,
so much.
sweetheart.
All
Thanks,
right.
Dad.
Thanks, you too. Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Okay,
All right.
let's finish up. I think Dad did a great job.
I think so too.
I'm still on camera.
You can go.
Bye.
You're all done.
I thought this was a professional production here.
It is.
Okay, so
Off
I'm
you
leaving the
go.
set.
Yeah.
Off.
I'm storming off the set.
Storm. Off you go.
We'll do it live.
Do it live. Do it live.
So, you know what? I think you did a good job.
I think so too.
I think you did a great job, actually.
Because also, and maybe we can get the clip from the last podcast.
Yeah.
But where we were in the Bun's old room, Martha's old room.
Yeah.
Pictures on the wall.
Yeah. Oh,
Dad was knocking the pictures off the wall.
that's because he's like a water buffalo.
I know that. So
So the pictures were like falling and
maybe we can like get that clip
Yeah.
and be like, this is what we had to redo.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the table was
live.
always rocking. Anyway, but that was great. I'm glad
Yeah.
he came on. And so I think that we should let everybody know that our next podcast
We'll just be you and me.
will just be you and me.
Yep.
And we'll just chit chat and talk about the horses and the barn and you know,
what people want to know.
yeah, we always have things to do. And the next guest that we're going to have, I think people are going to find very interesting.
They're gonna love it.
And that will be Bret Hardesty, who is the owner of Hardesty Homes and is responsible for building our home. He built the garage, the barn, everything that's on
Everything.
this property.
Also, I mean, we've lived here for what, 6 years? And we're like
5 years.
5 years. And, you know, like the front door. Brett, hey, the front door is not working. And he's like, yeah, I've been done. And he
Bret just takes care of everything.
takes care of everything. He's the best.
Yeah.
He knows everything.
He does. He
So,
knows everything. And so
he's
he's
just-
going to come
yeah.
on and he's going to talk about building barns, which I think will be really helpful to people that A, are interested in building a barn,
Have a barn.
have a barn,
Have problems with their barn.
have problems at their barn. So we're going to toss out there on our stories, which is why people have to listen, look at our stories.
Tune into the stories because probably 2-3 days in advance.
Yeah.
Maybe the day before.
Yeah. I mean, we'll ask for what kind of issues do you have at your own barn? Do you have drainage issues? Do you have
Foundation.
foundation problems? Do you have, concerns about where you're going to be putting it? And I will say this, just because our barn is, this rather elegant looking barn doesn't mean that Bret is not aware of how to build, pole barns.
Totally.
He's totally can counsel anyone on any kind of a barn or run-in shed that they have.
Oh,
So
and the feed barn.
yeah, the
you
feed
know,
barn.
the-
I mean,
yeah.
and storage. I
Yeah.
mean,
So any question,
any questions? So we're
send it
going
in.
to.
Give it to Brett, and I think people will really like that.
Oh, I think they will
Yeah.
too. I think it'll be a
And
lot of
maybe
fun.
even something about building a house, a custom house, not like a
track house,
neighborhood.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I think he'll be happy. And you know what? It's nice. It's nice that you can have somebody that because of us, they know can be trusted.
Yeah.
And B, how often do you have the opportunity to speak to a builder to ask your questions free?
Right.
A lot of times if you were to call a builder, well, they'll schedule an appointment and have a consultation fee involved. So this will be a great time to help out a lot of people, I think. So that will be in 2 weeks. Next week will just be you and I. The following week will be Bret, and we'll keep going from there.
Yeah.
All right. So
All
this
right.
was good. So you guys, make sure that you are following us on Instagram,
Facebook,
Facebook,
YouTube,
YouTube. All of these
Spotify,
things are
and
R&R
Apple
Ranch
Podcasts.
Minis. Spotify and Apple Podcast, Cameo. I mean, we're just,
I know.
we cover a bunch of
I
places.
know. I feel like we need to add a couple links to that link tree.
I did. It's all on there.
Oh, Okay,
Yeah, it's
cool.
Spotify. You can just go to our profile on anywhere on Facebook
Click
or
the link in the profile and
Yep, and it'll take you to any place.
subscribe, review.
So thank you so much for joining us again. This has been the R&R Ranch Roundup. I still have a
Roundup.
hard time
I
saying
forgot
that
we had a name.
because there's so many
R&R
R's.
Ranch Roundup.
But it is the R&R Ranch Roundup, and I am your host Stacy and my daughter Belle, and we will see you guys
Next
next
week.
time. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.